Cognitive Gaming is up 1-0 here in this series Cognitive. I meant Cloud9. I told you I was going to do it one time. Cloud9 is up 1-0 over Cognitive Gaming. It was a 38-minute game, but Omega really showed up in that first one.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning, not great. The end was beyond fantastic. I mean, he played like what the world champion should play like every game.
Well, to be fair as well, the longer a game goes on, the more veteran experience shows.
Not to mention the better Hercules is going to be, because look at all this damage that you can maybe do to me twice, right?
I hit 3. I can't die, right? That's Hercules.
Did we have a Weakening Curse come out last game?
No, it did not.
You gotta build
it happens. It happens.
You gotta build it.
One of the bigger matchups, though, is the mid lane matchup. Stealth got rolling early on with Scylla. Do you think they ban Scylla, though?
Hard to say. I mean, what they got to do is protect Meerkat a little bit better, despite the fact that the KDA is in his favor. Look at the gold per minute. I mean, Stealth was absolutely dominant, and really the portraits tell the picture from the last game. Stealth's like, yeah, it was Scylla, and Herwin's like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell Stealth, even though he's got a 1.7 KDA, it doesn't... Scylla is just big burst. She just changes team fights instantly. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it banned out, but if I was COG, I wouldn't say we lost because of this. I just hope we don't see a Hercules ban.
I think we'll see Anhur getting taken away. I definitely don't think they're going to allow Athena through again.
Which is weird, because Anhur, we were both expecting him to do very, very well in that matchup, but because it's Barracuda, but he did okay.
Well, to be fair, what did Famous Hate do? Famous Hate was just, stuck in his lane, can't control, can't push. Let's jump into picks and bans here.
That's a good point.
No more speculation. Let's see what they decide to go for.
But I like speculation. It's the best part.
It's a lot of fun.
It's so good.
So it looks like we're going to be in the same seats. As Gandhi pointed out before, everyone seems really okay with just being in the seats that they're given to start. And with that, Serket going to be taken away to start for Cognitive Gaming. Option here to Cloud9.
Let's see who they take away.
Sylvanas.
Do you think Cog would grab Sylvanas?
Yeah, Jigs to me is their star player. Jigs, I think, is just a step ahead of everyone else on this team. So I think by being able to shut him down as fast as possible, especially in the ban and pick phase, is going to be absolutely instrumental in their victories. And with that, they go ahead and take away Sylvanas. Athena does get banned as well. Option here to Cloud9. Anhur actually still on the table here. Should they take it away from Cognitive Gaming, or do they try to aim once again for Jigs?
Might be Jigs.
Oh, no,
Arachne.
okay.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is this weird respect ban to Arachne, which I saw Weekend play it yesterday, and I was really not impressed.
Yeah, we saw him this morning. I mean, he did some things, or she did some things. I don't think she has the same level of control, but people seem to not want to fight her. I think it's more of an annoyance thing than it is this character's powerful. It's just like, this character can just make me not have fun.
Right? I think that's what it is. I mean, the Ikavol, even into Chins or Executioner, was good, but it just wasn't, I don't know.
Well, Bastet once again gets locked in for Mask, most likely. We have seen it go to the solo lane a few times, albeit I don't think it's probably going to happen this game. Thor going to be grabbed here. That's going to be for the jungle. All fear Annenster's Thor, which has been very scary to this point.
You know what's really nuts, too, is when I looked at the SWC stats not too long ago, and Gar's got a lot of Thor, so did Annenster. Annenster actually did better overall with them.
Annenster generally is seen as the strongest player worldwide. Whenever you go into fantasy games, he's usually worth the highest. In fact, going into Season 1, he was the highest right out of the gate. And, his play represents that, especially from what we've seen.
Have you seen him 1v1 joust people? Like, I remember watching at SWC, he did the 1v1 joust versus Snoopy and beat him with flat-out hunters.
He was beating Snoopy with Uller. It's incredible.
Like,
but
what?
Geb gets locked in as well for Cloud9. A little bit curious to see Geb getting grabbed so early. Bacchus gets answered back with Anhur available as well. Will we see a Moose and Cobb coming out here, or is Barracuda going to go a little bit more tried and true as Poseidon gets locked in?
I think it makes sense that they grab Geb, because if they go into this next phase without grabbing him, who are they going to be left with? Kumba?
Well, I think that we're probably going to see I wanted to say Serket, but I don't think Meerkat's going to go double assassin.
No.
I just don't see it happening.
Cognitive Gaming is the little baby sister team of Cloud9 and TSM. They pretty much copy and go exactly like that.
All right, they do believe that there will be double assassin as Hunbots gets taken away here. Wow, all right.
All right. I get it. Hunbats is a lot to deal with. And when you mix him up with Bacchus, with Intoxicate, I mean, that CC chain's pretty gnarly. You get Intoxicated, then Fear No Evil. That's a lot.
Amuzen Cobb does get taken away as the possible counter to Anhur. I love that ban there coming out from Cognitive Gaming. Option here to Cloud9. 2 picks remain, and it looks like to be their solo laner and their hunter. A few things on the table, most notably Bakasura still available, but they're going to opt for Xbalanque here.
Xbalanque versus Anhur. That's an Anhur-dominated matchup in the laning phase.
Pretty much all warriors still available here. Bakasura is available. Aphrodite. A lot of solo laners still left on the board here. A few assassins as well if they decide to go that route.
They got to go Bacca.
Janus going to be locked in for her wind, okay?
They have to grab Bacca. If they don't grab Bacca, Cloud9's going to give that directly to Omega, and after Omega put on the performance he did in that game number 1, you don't want to give him an assassin where he knows if Omega is confident that he is better than the other person he's going against, which he always is, Bacca is the scariest pick for him.
Is that a Kali pickup? So we're going to see a solo Bastet or solo Kali depending on where they try to bring that. That's a little bit dangerous. I would expect that it'll be solo Bastet. Kali strong, but not very strong. So we're going to see quad assassin here, as we're going to see both junglers and both solos have chosen to go the squishy route.
This is scary. This is very, very scary. If you are Cognitive going out of this, this is just a individual matchup before we talk about the big picture. Bacca on Omega. We saw what he did to Divios with Tyr. Whoever goes into the solo lane, they have to be safe, DM.
For me, I have never known Meerkat to really play assassins. He, to me, has always been Tyr and Hercules and, Osiris and all of these tanky characters. We have seen Hunbots a few times from him, and it has been okay. But for him to be going into either Bastet or Kali, we're jumping into the game here. It looks like he will be playing Bastet. All right.
Wow. So, looking at this, early on, both teams are going to be looking to be aggressive. So, Cloud9 has the better mid-harpy control. Late game, I mean, Cognitive Gaming's really just got to wait for Mass to get chin size.
Yeah, I mean, Kali's going to need 3 items, right? She needs boots, chins, and then something else, be it Ikeval or Executioner. She's going to need a lot of damage on board before she's considered a threat, especially when you compare her across the way here to Thor, who is a threat right at level 2.
Thor is a threat throughout the entire game.
That's right. Even when his damage falls off, he still has 2 stuns. He's got a great escape. I mean, he's very hard to deal with.
The big thing with Thor, too, is that as soon as you pick this god, the options of what you can do off the beginning of the game are endless. You can invade. You can go directly in there and then go, oh, okay, whatever. My passive is fantastic.
All right, so 10 seconds left until minion spawns. It doesn't look like anybody is really going to go for the rush here. Neither team going to be aggressive. A little confusing coming out from the top side, considering Bastet and Kali have a very horrible level 1. Comparatively to Thor with Warrior's Madness and Bakasura with Eat Minion, it was pretty much a guaranteed steal, but they've chosen not to go for it.
Yeah. We haven't seen a bunch of steals, man. It's not something that people really like to do. Granted, we have seen one today where it was just an easy steal of the blue buff, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
I wonder, why do you think that is, DM, at a competitive level?
It's got to be fear. I mean, it can't be anything else. I mean, it's just self-doubt. Perhaps they're not practicing it enough. Generally in scrims, a lot of players will say, like, let's not do invades this game because we're trying to practice this or this. It's generally seen as cheesy or possibly even bad-mannered. But for me, I mean, that was a free opportunity there in a competitive setting, and they should have taken it.
Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we will be doing giveaways throughout the entire game. Just make sure your eyes are glued to the screen. Tell your friends, your family, everyone else.
If everyone that you know glues their eyes to the screen, though, it's going to get messy. So just be careful and don't use a lot of glue.
Dogs can't use codes, Brad. I know you consider Shadow as your only friend, but that's not a thing.
Diving in left there, Barracuda doing a lot of damage there as Jigs takes the brunt. But overall, it looks like Famous and Jigs shouldn't have too much trouble on her with great clear.
Oh, man. All the production bros picked up dogs recently, if you haven't seen Twitter. Stealth stealing the back harpies with Anhur. That is the mobility. He's not even going to miss out on anything in this lane as well. This is a big win for Cloud9. So, DM, let's talk a little bit about Janus, shall we?
I think this character is absurd. Does a ridiculous amount of damage, albeit the pros think it a bit inconsistent, and is likely the safest mage, maybe even the safest character in the game, because not only can he save himself, but he can save his entire team in the process with just one move. And with that, I expect a lot here from Herwin. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about how I didn't know if he had a Janus ready for this stage of play against MLC Stealth, going up against the world champion, especially on one of the gods here that he is so famous for, being Poseidon. This is actually the god that MLC Stealth really brought himself to the table with. It's going to be hard for him.
Well, for me...
Oh, wow, too quick. Meerkat recognized the fact that Omega hit level 5, and all 6 minions are going to go away over in the right lane.
That's huge.
I really thought he had him. Meerkat just barely got out of that one.
Well, mid-Harpy's coming up in 30 seconds. You're seeing the back come out as well. Cloud9 has dominated the middle section of this map. Anhur and Stealth freezing the lane, making sure all experience is denied. Double tap's going to be good on Mask. They're bullying them right now, DM. They want to delay this as much as possible, waiting for 3 minutes.
I perhaps think that they're not bullying enough, even, considering the fact that Kali at this stage of the game, not super strong. I mean, don't underestimate her. She has a lot of damage that she can put out, but it's generally pretty staggered, whereas Thor at this stage of the game, I mean, how do you deal with him?
Well, Jeff Henley gets the mid-Harpies all by himself, which is really going to help him out. Both Harpies going in favor of Cloud9. The rotation from Bacchus was slow.
Curious to me that Andy chose not to use the Hand of the Gods there. A little bit slower, but there's no negative there. No one made an attempt to stop it.
Look at this. He's coming on the backside.
Wow.
They're taking this.
We'll see Hand now.
Yeah, they know the timer on the speed buff, bro. They know the general time. They know at 4 minutes and 19 seconds or 15 seconds it's going to be up depending on how fast it's cleared. This is a great play from him.
And for me, they also know that Kali isn't going to be making gestures towards the right side of the... Oh, Mask, you're in trouble. Oh, Andy going to get stunned out of the Berserker Barrage there. He's trading in a situation that might not really be in his favor, though, but he blinks away just barely. We're seeing some major damage come out, though, on the right side as Omega burns down Meerkat for first blood.
Yep, that's what I was afraid of.
I mean...
That's exactly what I said, is that you have to be extremely careful. Now, Xbalanque pretty much guarantees any time that Omega wants to be aggressive, Omega should be able to get that kill.
Right, I mean, he should have gotten the first blood earlier, but a little bit too quick for him was Meerkat. Second time, it seems to be, was the charm, as both Andy and Omega choose to go back there. They're going to be a little bit late on the speed camp, but they have a pretty decent advantage here. Somehow, First Blood has resulted in a total of 1,265 gold and 2,200 experience. Unless Kali reaches late game, this one's already looking pretty over.
Dude, MLC Stealth is just an experienced leashing god. He's gotten everything.
And he should.
Everything he can, he's gotten involved in.
You know what it is to me is he used to be on a team with Xing, and Xing used to take all the experience, right? And maybe even put him behind. He's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm getting every camp and my mid lane. You, get out of mid.
Well, speaking of experience, obviously Bakasura is in the top because he got that kill. Right behind him, though, is Poseidon. Poseidon without a kill, still doing very well. Buys Shoes of the Magi. Why? Because Poseidon is a burst mage.
Yeah, he's going to be doing a lot of damage at this stage. Be very wary of the Kraken, and with that possible early Gold Furies, there are few abilities in the game that would stop someone from attempting to defend the Gold Fury like the Kraken.
Yeah. There's one Aegis on board as well for Cognitive Gaming, which obviously is going to be Janus. Now, Janus has some choices. He can go the CDR build. He can go the power build. He can do a split of the two. I just don't know what we're going to see today.
Omega diving deep here against Meerkat. Going to throw down a lot of damage, but he's going to get blocked off by the Cats. Omega thought he had the chase, but instead might be put into some trouble.
Yeah, the turnaround. The Cats are good. Omega's going to be able to eat the minion. Oh, no! The
Lord.
bleed.
He died in mid-air from the bleed. No player in the world saying calculated off that. Meerkat breathes a rather large sigh of relief as he just barely escapes death. And we'll find the first kill for his team.
And Omega's screaming server.
Oh, left side, Barracuda going to be in some trouble here. Eyes on Thor as he's coming down. Barracuda, or rather Famous Hate, jumps away from it. It was Anhur up into the air, and they don't manage to find a single thing off of it. Cloud9 could be in some trouble here.
Yep, the counter initiation comes. Belch is good. Cataclysm's a little bit better. Is he going to be able to live? Ooh. Jigs has to get the last hit. He does. Famous Hate jumps in. Xbalanque very safe with the Rising Jaguar, as now Kali will be late. Now, this is what I want everyone to kind of keep your eye on here, is that Kali, yes, she has boots done. She's been involved in no fights. She can't really do anything unless it's soft serve to her.
That's true. I mean, at this stage of the game, there's not going to be solo kills. She's looking for big-time stuns to stop abilities, helping her team get kills, and she's still a ways away from being able to get anything real online. Speaking about 2,200 away from Chins if she decides to go for its second item.
Yo, looking at real, by the way, my man Omega goes back, buys Heavy Hammer and level 2 boots.
Love it. Absolutely love it. His Heavy Hammer at this point is still absolutely devastating. You can see Meerkat forced to jump away from that fight immediately. Had he not had the Heavy Hammer, there was a possibility of him hanging around, but Omega would have cleaned him up aptly should he have stuck around to that fight into that slow.
No attempt on Gold Fury just yet, as we are seeing. This is what it's like to go against Omega, is that he's always in your face and there's nothing you can do. Looking at the Xbalanque versus Anhur, we talked about it a little bit, is that Anhur, his clear is a lot better than Barracuda's, aka Xbalanque, but teamfight presence, Anhur still kind of has that edge too.
Yeah, I mean, until very, very late game when, he's going to have, 1 or 2 stacking items in his full build and, a few stacks on his passive and Brancing Bowl is maxed. I mean, that's a ways away. But right now, Anhur controls all stages.
Yep. Jeff Henlo looking for it, waiting for the calculation. Stealth is here as well. If they do decide to go in on this, expect a big Kraken. Ultimate down from Xbalanque. Barracuda just trying to throw it out there, trying to help out his team from across the map the best he can. Mid Harpy's not coming up for a little bit here. Back camps are up. Gold Fury has been up. We've yet to see an attempt. Double tap is going to hit. They jump in. Belch is there, but Kraken as well. Wow, Mask is going in. Was that his target? It was, and he wasn't able to get it.
Oh, no. Mask has a huge misplay here because he gives the kill to Jeff Henle. Now, normally at this stage of the game, having a support get a kill is not a big deal. But for Kali, that means Jeff Henle's her target now. There's no, I mean, granted, it might help them because now she's going to have some penetration towards it. In fact, given that she's level 9,
oh,
be
trouble.
19.
Meerkat. Rip.
Is that Beads usage right there? Indeed it was. So Beads 1 going to be on cooldown, and Omega's like, hey, buddy, thanks for the mana.
Yeah, I mean, Omega he literally just sat in the cove and was like, well, if he comes in here, he's dead. And if he doesn't, I get the blue.
Meerkat right now still has Cats, but don't let it be fooled. There is no kill potential here. He has Cats plus 1 ability right now. Cats and Bleed, not going to kill.
Look at that. Butcher Blade's activated. He forces the jump as well. He jumps just because, well, why not? He's going to shred through 1 minion, too. Mid Harpy's getting ready to come up. That is going to be the focal point here.
Andy,
get out of here.
Not even close.
Yeah, no. What are you doing, homie?
He goes right back over, but he's going to find himself in a bad spot, and he has no escape here. Anister is more than likely going to go down. He takes the bleed, he takes the jump, and eventually he will take the fall. Giving the kill to Mess there, not the greatest call. Probably should have juked back towards Janus.
Oh, they could have attempted to start up the Gold Fury because 3 people committed on that fight.
But there was also Andy over there as well.
Yeah.
Might not be enough damage.
Yeah, that's... It would have been really, really close. Mid Harpies, left side, going to go to Cloud9. Right side are going to go up, most likely following the cognitive gaming here. As Mass will rotate over there as well. He will walk over a ward during that, but all things considered right now, it looks pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-3 right now. Remember, endgame definitely belongs to Cog. They're going to have, Kali. I mean, pretty much by herself, right? Versus level 10 Thor. Andy not in a great spot here, but Barracuda also has the edge over Famous Hate, so it could wind up evening out. Gold Fury getting contested by both camps, it seems here. However, the red team seems to be a little bit stronger with a 4-man rotation. Famous Hate finally about to join the fight here as he rotates up.
Look at this, man. It's every single mage that Stealth plays.
Oh, Meerkat, a lot of trouble here. Gets sent over. Barracuda jumps away. He's locked under the tower again. Barra trying to do a sneaky back here. Meerkat's looking for him, but ultimately will not find anything. Omega really putting a lot of work into that tower, but with an awkward back, this should give an advantage here to Meerkat.
Yep. Famous Hate able to clear up that wave, but dude, like I was saying, man, every single mage Stealth builds the exact same, with barely any deviation.
Because if it works, why fix it?
Well, it's just a bunch of health and Once you have Shoes of the Magi plus Warlocks, I mean, you have enough damage to kill everyone.
Oh, absolutely. And, for me, like I talked about before, this is a PvP game. There is wiggle room for the amount of damage in a build if it suits your playstyle. And for this, it suits MLC very, very well. Now, of course, Warlocks is pretty expensive, but you're also paying into a stacking item, meaning you are gaining a little bit more gold efficiency than if those stats were to be just normally on an item.
And in Sir, forced into Berserker Barrage. Jeff Hinla has to deal with Jigs. Jigs, through space of time, barely going to miss. Kraken's going to do a bunch. Barracuda could be in some trouble. Desert Fury, nope. He's able to get out of there. Mass still chasing. Heroin's able to pick up 1. And in Sir, verse 3, Hammer's going to be able to get him out of there. Ooh. Tectonic Rift. Oh, good beads.
No trouble.
Good beads.
They're trying to find something else. All the while, over in the right side, Meerkat able to push down this tower. Omega was unable to deal with that. Mid lane, Andy going to be by himself versus 3. Without Jigs up, it looks like they won't turn their sights to the Gold Fury just yet.
So now here's the real question. Does Bastet go into a Shifter Shield? Does she say, I just want a little bit of protections? Does she go into
against
Transcendence?
This comp? No, I wouldn't say so. Omega's doing true damage. It's not going to help him against Stealth, right? I mean, Jeff Hinla, Barracuda don't care. It's really not giving him enough to really warrant it. I would expect that we see Transcendence here. If not, hard to say.
Well, Beads 3 gets picked up, 900 gold, gone, but well spent.
Yeah, I like the early Beads 3. It's going to give him enough potential to block out the Regurgitate on cooldown, which is good because Regurgitate shares that 90-second cooldown.
Taking a look at the player damage there, you see Bastet was at the top. Right behind him was Bakasura, a.k.a. Omega. Andy throwing down the Sentry Wards with Jeff Hinla, kind of working as a duo here to clear out the vision and get just that little bit of an advantage, getting ready for the Gold Fury, which we've seen it not even get attempted. No one started it up yet, which is very, very unusual.
They went towards it once.
Yeah, but for like North America, very, very unusual.
Speaking of unusual, Andy right now 2 levels behind Mask on top of the fact that he has not found a kill just yet. 0-1-3, the only player on his team with a negative score.
Yep, he had that one kind of pickle that he had to deal with. But it also could be the fact that he's behind a couple levels, mainly because he's leeching all this experience with Stealth. Jeff Hinla forced into Cataclysm. Kraken comes down. Mass forced to ultimate. Looking for it. The destruction's on. He's able to jump away. Will the Harpies be enough? And Anhur says, nope, not happening. Kali jumps away. Anhur has to give up the kill.
That was a beautiful portal, just barely getting him out of danger there. Mask with a big misplay as he chose to jump over the wall instead of using the portal, which was there for him, and a much better escape, mind you. Puts his only escape on cooldown. Luckily, Heroine through space and time was used first, not the portal, which gives him another opportunity to live, and with that, barely escapes.
You can see why it is so annoying to try to gank a Janus mid lane. Even as Thor, you just see him kind of peace out, and you're like, man, that was annoying.
Barracuda cleaning up some vision there towards the bottom hotspot over near the mid camps on the left side. And with that, a much better chance for the Gold Fury here does Cloud9 have. But at the same time, there, of course, is a Sentry Ward in favor of blue at gold itself.
Yep. Taking a look over Jeff Hinla's shoulder. The Sex. He's waiting for his team to really just make the calls here. They want the Gold Fury. Everyone knows that's the first point of contention, but we haven't really seen it get started yet. Janus across the way, actually going with the Warlock Sash build, which isn't bad by any means, but it's something that we're not used to seeing at all on Janus.
Speaking of Janus, I would expect a little bit more rotation coming out. So far, the only real rotation we've seen him have was the rotation he made to get Omega kind of out of, or rather Anhur out of position inside the blue buff. Since then, we've really not seen great usage of through space and time. Perhaps he's afraid to try to rotate against Stealth towards the right side, but even so, Vision going to be given back to the Gold Fury in favor of Cloud9. Jeff Hinla trying to keep this area safe. No Sentry Wards in the inventory right now of COG. 2 more available for Cloud9.
Yeah, this is big. Harpy's coming up. That is going to be Jeff Hinla in a perfect position. Wave shoved all the way up. Heroine can't really do anything. You can see they've called Omega over here.
This is a bait.
The call is Gold Fury and kill everyone.
Bear is a little bit late here. Mask jumps in early, but they're turning all of their time onto Jeff Hinla. A lot used there. Mask going to be forced out. Could be using his ult pretty soon there. Meerkat diving deep in the back line, trying to fight Omega. Is not going to find very much as MLC Stealth takes some portal damage. Complete map control right now given to Cloud9 once again.
Yep, Trident was popped as well. Stealth trying to speed it up. Omega using Hand of the Gods in the mid lane, keeping the pressure there. Tectonic Rift barely missing. The Belch is going to be good.
Here we go.
And here it comes. Here comes the Whirlpool. Cloud9 takes the first Gold Fury. And Insert comes crashing down. Berserker Barrage. Is this enough? It isn't. He's got to get out. Kraken's going to hit. Kraken shredding the health bars, but not securing a kill. Omega comes in. Omega isn't able to get a kill as he gets impaled into the wall.
That was greed. He didn't need that. He didn't need to jump in and kill Mask right there. He should have just backed off and farmed. Take a look at the right side. The minions have just been hanging out by themselves for a while, and now Omega's going to forego all of that experience as Meerkat knows that he has a free trip over there on top of the fact that he's actually camping the goal.
Could you feel Omega's heart sink when he got impaled into the wall, though?
I mean, what could you have expected to happen? You know, the burp was available. The impale hadn't been used for a pretty long time in that engagement, and then there were 5 of them. I mean, that was pretty much guaranteed. Any team worth their salt, including most of the Challengers Cup teams, would have killed Omega in that situation.
So, looks like Bastet will be going into the Transcendence next, which is pretty standard. I'm glad to see that we're getting away from the Shifter Shield on Bastet. I will say that. It serves its place.
It's a decent power spike, but the issue is that Bastet doesn't do very well with defense. I mean, not killing her isn't as good as her killing you, generally speaking. And with that, he has the charge Morningstar, still about, let's see, gold in hand. Still about 800 gold away from being able to finish that one up. So it's going to be a little bit before she gets that online, as opposed to the rather cheap and staggered build coming out from Omega, including Iqbal, Ninja Tabby, Heavy Hammer, a single point of Light Blade, and now Smithy's Hammer.
So the Hasten Fatalis will be next on Dakali. Now, some people say, why don't you just build Sprint 3 and call it a day? Do you agree with that?
No, I like the beads. Definitely get beads. You can't have Sprint. You need CC immunity, and Magi's just isn't good enough. If someone pokes you down and gets it down on cooldown for 45 seconds, it's just going to be death. So he decides Hasten Fatalis plus the chin size, very, very strong. After this, I would expect that if he hasn't reached his attack speed cap, which he shouldn't, Executioner. He's going to need more penetration on this build. Otherwise, he's always aiming for his target, and it's going to be a very easy bait. But the Hasten Fatalis bead stigma, this should always, and I mean 100% of the time, happen on Kali.
Kali looking for it. Barracuda's here. Rising Jaguar waiting for the stun. It's going to hit. Do they have the follow-up? He's going to be stunned out there because he was moving. Sprint activated. Famous 8 able to clear that one out. Poseidon comes on the rotation. Famous 8. He's got to be careful. He's trying to use it. Kraken's going to be good. Down he goes. Anhur secures it. Cognitive Gaming tries to answer back. The knock-up wasn't enough. The Intoxicate's on him. But weren't able to dunk it.
For me, I think that's a small win there for Cloud9, considering the respawn timers, unless Andy gets forced out here as well and he can do something with it. Right side Regurgitate coming down here, but he doesn't have a way to keep on to Meerkat, it seems. He took a lot of damage there between the cats and the bleed, and he's going to be forced away.
Oh, they're going for this. The threshold was down. Jeff Hinla stunned out. Belly flop was good. Do they have it? Mask has his ultimate there. Hurwin was able to take that kill. Hopefully that wasn't his target. Hurwin's got to get out of there. Oh,
that was a huge drop. Hurwin did not need to throw that portal down. Had that portal not gone off, Mask was guaranteed that kill and the heal, since there is no weakening curse on the board, at least not one that I see, meaning Hurwin realistically threw that team fight right there for Cognitive Gaming, and Cloud9 winds up trading out not only evenly, but picking up an extra kill on the back end as a result.
Now, it's not every day that you get to see a pro consider one build and then change his mind to do something else. And when you look at Bakasura, he started off and that was getting ready to go into Executioner. And then after that last team fight, he realized he needed a little bit more health. So he went back, reprioritized, and finished out Runeforged Hammer. And then he will go back to revisit the Executioner.
At least I hope that that's the case. Should he have gone into Lightblade just for the 15% attack speed, which we have seen people do in the past, this would be technically a misplay considering that Shortbow is the same stats at 15% attack speed, but it's 100 gold cheaper. So hopefully he is looking towards Chin Size or Executioner and wasn't just building the level 1.
He is. I mean, it's Bakasura, man.
Fair
he's
enough.
He's got to do it. So
Oboe, just as good, though.
Oh, for sure.
In fact, Oboe, in certain situations, might even be better. And in this situation, it might be better considering the fact that if you look across the way, those are 4 extremely squishy targets that he doesn't really need a lot of penetration on.
Yeah. So Poseidon actually going sprint 3, beads 3. Now, this is something that's interesting to me, right? So Spear of the Magus, everyone accepts is a must-build item on Poseidon.
Yes.
But Boosh, yesterday, decided to go Voidstone. Or, not Voidstone. Obsidian Shard.
That's because he wasn't getting the big damage off in the whirlpools. They were rushing him down. He decides yesterday, okay, I'm going to go for the big burst damage, put a little bit more on the scaling, get penetration just for myself, and I'm just going to try to hit that Kraken.
Do you like that?
I guess it depends on the situation. In this case, I think I would prefer the Spear, just because he doesn't have a lot of penetration in the kit. Although he does have a decent amount of damage, you should also consider the fact that Jeff Hindle will gain a small damage increase to Cataclysm and Shockwave as well through the Spear, but hard to say.
Omega forced out, had to jump. One-on-one fight, in comes crashing in, and there should be the kill secured. He dodges one, hits the sprint, still running. He's throwing it down. He's trying to do it. Desert Fury comes out. He does a lot of their health. Do they have the follow-up damage here? This could be huge for Cognitive. Stealth is going to be the target. Intoxicates down. His teammates bailed on him, though. He's not there. Kraken's got a hit. Kraken did a lot. And Mask is going. He's desperately trying to get it. Was unable to do it. And now Omega says, by the way, guys, you forgot about me. Still looking for Meerkat. Whirlpool will slow him down. There's the jump. Omega's jump as well.
He's going to catch up now. Beautiful use right there. Mask beads the slow and then was able to run away a little bit farther, throwing his own slow out. Really, really good play right there by Meerkat. Even so, they're going to be in some trouble here as 3 members are still alive for Cloud9, including the support.
Big portal.
I don't see Herwin coming into this one safely.
This is a big portal here. Herwin has to
Meerkat,
drop
don't get baited.
He's got one.
Meerkat, don't get baited.
He's got the poke damage. They're on it. He jumps in. And bye-bye. He went for... Oh, look at the Trident. Oh, my God.
This is the reason that you want Sprint. Trident is actually, for the time that it's up, one of the hardest hitting abilities in the game. In fact, it rivals the damage from the Pulse Irradiate combo if you hit every single part of the attack. And with that, he's looking to keep that on the uptime as much as possible with greater Sprint. Great use there by MLC Stealth. Level 20 right now. Extremely dangerous. 317.
He's at the bottom of player damage right now as well, which is kind of crazy, all things considered. But 23 minutes, the big difference between what you saw yesterday from the Boosh and what you're seeing today from Stealth is Omega's not playing Athena, right? Like he was guaranteed. When you have an Athena mixed with a Poseidon, you're guaranteed Krakens.
That's true. It seems to me like Millier Warrior or rather AFK Gaming now, was putting themselves in bad positions, whereas COG is definitely much more aware and afraid of the Kraken, it seems.
Yeah, which you have to be. And instead of forced out here from the Belch, the battle for vision, and they're just trying to delay him, and he's actually going to be able to win that battle. The Norse god Thor says he is the better one.
Seer 1 in right, going to be going down there as Omega forces out Mask and takes a 500 gold win for his team, extending their lead now almost up to 6,000 gold, 8,600 experience, which of course is not entirely true, as only Famous Hate for his team is level 20 comparatively to Cloud9, where we have 3 now.
Yep. Whirlpool comes out here, slowing him out. Trident is now going to be proccing on every single one since Spear of the Magus will be finished.
One hit from close range Trident, which just strips away.
Oh, the Kraken's going to hit. Mask is able to get out. Jigs now, he's way deep. They should have the damage to take him out. Stealth waiting for it. There's the Whirlpool. Don't have the follow-up, though.
Mask doesn't have beads up for another 17 seconds, meaning he just can't stick around, even with his ultimate, even if his ultimate was available. Herwin likely going to get blown up here through space and time. Be damned, says Barracuda, as he adds his 3rd stack to the board.
Barracuda, you know, we haven't mentioned him at all this game. Why? Because he's been sitting in lane, just farming.
That's the hunter mentality.
Yeah.
I wonder how he would have fared, though, if he had used Ataraxia's build.
The hastened?
I think we're going to wind up seeing a major switch to this build.
I do too. I loved it. There was nothing that I saw out of that series where I said, huh, yeah, the one we normally have is good.
It's an attack, it's a movement speed increase across the board. Not to mention the damage is in your favor.
Famous Hate now jumping over. Gonna be staring at Barracuda. Barracuda, he's got the slow on a branching bolas.
All right, so we're now to the point where Anhur no longer beats Xbalanque, and it doesn't look like Famous Hate got the memo.
Yeah. Famous 8 was like, oh yeah, I can handle this.
I'm Anhur. I'm the best character in the game.
Yeah.
And then no, like it's late game Xbalanque, and you didn't shut him down. He will hurt you. In fact, he did hurt you, even with the lifesteal, not full health yet.
My man Barracuda just went back. Instead of even looking at Rage, he goes, I'll take a Deathbringer and sprint 3.
I like the Deathbringer instead because this is a character that's known for damage, like outright burst damage, and adding 50 to the pool instead of 30, plus the branching bolas and 3 stacks on the passive, I mean, he is going to be swinging unbearably hard, especially for a comp that has 4 squishy targets and a tank that has to put himself out of position to do damage.
Now, really, you're going to see Stealth stay glued to Jeff Hinla in all of these fights. Why? Because he knows as soon as Jeff Hinla blinks and goes in, a Kraken has to follow. That's their key to victory. Now, Cog, well, Famous Hate, he might get taken out here. He's going to be forced to jump right into Annenster. This is quite the pickle.
And if you see, Andy uses Berserker Barrage on the landing to make sure that he maintains his knock-up immunity. With that, Vera picks up another kill. Andy comes back down onto Meerkat, misses the stun, but oh, wow, Mask getting taken down as well. What in the world is happening here?
Where in the
my
world
God, Andy has like 30. He had 30 health.
Meerkat had about 10. And yeah, Andy has 76 as he goes back.
He took the tier 1 tower as well. Going to be a small boost in gold. Andy sitting on a lot in hand right there is going to be able to spend it up. And with that, Titan's Bane, or rather Warrior's Bane, going to come down, increasing his pressure to towers. You got to love it at this stage. Bakasura, Frostbound Hammer finished. Absolutely love it. This is something that we're not seeing enough this season, in my opinion, and that's getting that extra attack speed slow online.
Well, I'll be
will
damned.
not be able to box at all.
I'll be damned. Jeff Hinla baiting it out. Meerkat comes in.
Meerkat, you got to leave, buddy.
Yeah.
This is not time for you.
Yeah, this is it.
He doesn't have hand 3.
This is for adults.
You know, off that back that Meerkat had, if he didn't have the 600, I would understand, but if he walked out of that base with the ability to get hand 3 and didn't when it was Fire Giant time, that's a big sight right there, because now Cloud9 is not only ahead massively in gold at almost 10,000 and experience at 17, but they have Fire Giant. For me, I think Kali is an unbelievable character and has great benefit to pick, but in this case, on this comp, there's too many squishy targets, and they're just prioritizing the fact that Mask isn't able to do enough damage yet. And with that, 1-4-6, level 18 right now, third lowest level in the game, just behind the supports on a character that should be carrying. It's going to be very hard for him to come back.
Yeah, I think Season 2, at least early on, until, you know, obviously throughout the entire season things change, I am expecting 2 tanky frontliners to be the standard in every single comp.
Yeah.
No matter where it is.
This is why Warriors were so powerful. I love the Guardian play that's coming out from Xaylia and Divios, specifically against Assassins. I don't think Guardians are going to have a great matchup against Warriors, but against characters like Hunbat and Bastet that have been very popular, I mean, what can you possibly do against a character like Hades or Sobek?
There's nothing. You die. And by die, I mean you just stay annoyed for the entire laning phase, and then you just get peeled off of the carries.
All right, 10-6 right now. We're approaching the 30-minute mark as Cloud9 foolhardily rushes into the Tier 2. Tanking up is Jeff Hinla as Omega just activates Butcher's Blades and forces Meerkat to turn heel once again. With that, he jumps away. They'll turn their sights to the mid lane now as Andy rotates over to keep them honest.
Yeah, it's all about poking right now, DM. They're looking for everything they can. Annenster going to zone this one out.
Fire Giant's still up for 213, Gandhi.
Isn't this exact? I remember you said 230 last game, right? You know what I mean? They have a calculated play here. Jeff Hinla's going to just absorb this damage. Look at this health bar. It's not even moving.
I've been looking at, actually, Omega on the bottom left side here as he's rushing down Meerkat, forcing away a lot of damage. Jesus, he is jumping away there. Where the cats used as well. Yeah, the cats are actually fighting the regurgitated minions. It's like Pokemon. You throw them out and you tell them to do stuff, and it didn't look like he had enough badges because they attacked the wrong target.
Yeah, he was a bad trainer.
Yeah, bad trainer.
Bad trainer's bad.
Rip.
Poor Pokemon. What a hard life they live, though.
Right? Jeez.
They get captured, then thrown in a ball, and then just told what to do. That might be my definition of hell.
And with that, the Gold Lead just extends massively. I mean, if we take a look at the charts, and it's just like, this is kind of even, and then just straight down.
This is Cognitive Gaming's problem as a team. They are amazing at the beginning.
Did he get that? No, he did not get that.
Yeah, no, I think he did.
No.
I can say it.
Mass picked it up.
Yeah.
Just barely, though. And even so, like, is Jigs getting anywhere near that? Mask really just using that for golden experience at this point, as he's still level 18 at 31 minutes.
All right, DM, so let's hit it with the question, right? Your cognitive gaming. Well, hold that thought here. Barracuda forced to ultimate. Getting completely out here. Mass actually gets stunned.
Oh, Barracuda doesn't recognize it, because why would you have gotten hit by that stun?
Yeah, you just take your hand off a W.
It's like, it should only be about 6 to 10 frames or so. Just, you release it and you put it right back on.
Yep.
It's real quick. Jigs going deep almost alone here. Meerkat jumping in as well. Jigs likely going to die here.
Oh, God. Intoxicates down. That's going to help a little bit. Maz goes all the way deep. He's on stealth. He's got stealth, but it's not enough. The destruction's there. Does he have it on the Omega as well? He does. That's a double. Maz finally going to be taken out as well. Famous Hate now. It's a 3-on-3. He jumps in, hits the pounce. He's being an annoying little kitty cat. Barracuda goes, well, I got lifesteal for everyone. The siege continues.
That was the branching bolas that did that much damage to Whirlwind. And look at this. They can't do anything to touch this. Even with Famous Hate coming back, I wouldn't get baited here by Barracuda. I'm very sure Barracuda can box anyone at this stage.
Yeah. Barracuda, he's feeling the rhythm right now. He doesn't care at all. He's got the two people he wants to have with him as well.
And with that, Fire Giant buff gone. Going to be coming back up in 35 seconds. They'll strip away the remaining part of the jungle here on the backcamps, or at least on the left side, and then looks like head back to the base. The golden hand right now, 1,000 for Barracuda, which he has just spent. Take a look at the build on the bottom side. He has both crit items online. He's got an Aussie ready to go. Decent penetration between Aussie and Executioner. Good attack speed, and an absurd amount of damage. Currently sitting at 327 off his basic attacks, 240 total, plus the 50 from Branching Bolas.
Bro, demonic grip on top of the Rod of Tahuti. My man Poseidon
now,
is looking great.
If you couple the demonic grip with the Spear of the Magus, you no longer have protections.
No. There's nothing. You're hitting true damage every single time. Now, cognitive gaming, their backs against the wall. They're down by 6 kills, endless amounts of experience. They can't contest this. And by can't, I mean they're not as well. So,
close.
Yeah, they're not even nowhere there. And that was partly because they didn't want to get caught.
I think they just placed down a ward at Gold Fury.
He did. They have to, okay, whatever. They have to fight perfectly at the Phoenix. They have to have a perfect fight, but they have to avoid getting hit by the Kraken.
At the same
Poseidon
time,
is the man to watch.
At the same time, they also have to defend the left lane. And they have to deal with Fire Giant. And they can't. I mean, right now, Whirlwind is not only not killing creeps, but he's not even in the right area.
There it is!
And Kraken's going off. Jigs is dead.
Yep, Jigs, erase instantly, stealth, doing everything. He pops it. Now they're on to Kali. Her destruction's up. That's her ultimate, making her invincible. That's
Andy's
not enough.
So greedy.
Look how ballsy Andy is. Stealth now pushing in, waiting on the Trident. He just popped it. Still looking, has his front line in front of him. You can see the damage that Omega's doing. Omega wants him dead. Omega's going to have him dead. Now he's going to turn. Who's he want to kill next? The options are unlimited.
Mask might have an opportunity to pick up some, but definitely not all here. He doesn't have beads, doesn't have his ultimate. He still has a major chance to get baited here. Look at the damage coming through, doing a lot there. Famous Hate and Mask still alive there. Don't think that Cloud9's running away from this. They're actually just waiting for abilities, and they're back up. Mask, you are going down.
Yep, Mask gets baited there. Omega waiting to jump, but wow, Famous Hate. Famous Hate is hitting every single auto attack, which is what he needs to do. That is his job as a professional. Now, he's not going to jump in. No one's that crazy. But the big thing here is that the Titan is already at 50% health just because of fire minions. Make that 47 and drop it.
And, you know, remember, guys, if they go into this, it's going to be a clean burn. And if a player doesn't actually damage the Titan in that time and it resets, it's not going to gain that 50% or 15% back. So it's going to sit at 43% with 2 Phoenixes down. 1 Phoenix could come up, but as long as they have that thing in combat, they're going to be able to burn it down with very little issue.
I love Jeff Henla. Look at this. Hide of the Nemean Lion. 200 health, 80 physical protection, but on top of that...
My only problem with the Nemean Lion on Jeff Hindler right now is, yes, it's going to help him stay alive, But for me, if I was the Kali player, that would also say, I no longer want to hit this target at all. I will then go kill one of the squishies instead, even if he's my target.
That's a good point.
So it might force a weird dynamic, but at the same time, if Jeff is a major point of contention and they have to kill him, they no longer can because they will actually just kill themselves.
And he's going to put himself in this spot, which every support does. He puts himself in this spot where it makes you auto-attack him, at least a couple times.
That's true.
So that damage will get reflected out, which is going to be very, very important. The left Phoenix has respawned here. This is going to be the push. Jeff Hindla not wasting any time here. Ultimate coming down from Xbalanque. What? I mean, they can't even contest this. They have to fight at the Phoenix. They also have to worry about fire minions alone. The push is coming right now.
They should go for it here. Watch them grouping up. Andy taking to the sky here. They're looking to end right now. Cataclysm, not even necessary yet. They're turning right forward. That's game.
Yep. Wow. Big burst. Consistent. That is what you can expect out of Cloud9. Now, Cloud9, we kind of expected them to have this insanely good early game composition, just because, you know, that's what we see out of TSM.
Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, by himself.
But they still are ending in 36 minutes.
Yeah, well, it seemed like, despite the fact that they had an endgame comp, Cognitive Gaming was still controlling that early game. First Blood, of course, which we'll check out in just a second here, was a little bit awkward. Yeah. Right? In fact, oh, look, it's ready. Let's take it out now. Now, I love this play here. Oh, I thought it was...
the fastest First Blood, B2.
Watch this. Omega and Meerkat going to face off here. I almost wish this was the second Blood where he jumps, but even so, like, watch this. He's chasing him down. Perfect use of Regurgitate there. You can see him just getting caught on the back line. And by Omega running down the backside of it, if he decided to jump out by getting out, it was still going to make sure that he was close enough to continue getting the hits.
Yeah, well, no shocker here. MLC Stealth will be the player of the game as well. The Kraken, big burst, big damage, shredding everyone throughout the entire game. 5-2 and 13. Some people like the CDR boots, and they like just having more utility to do more Krakens more often. He goes, I want big damage. I'll take the longer cooldowns. That's no sweat off my back.
But he hit every single ability that he sent out to. I mean, and that's the big difference, right? When you have cooldown reduction, it's going to give you a much better chance to use your cooldowns, which means more chances to get the decent damage, as opposed to going into the Vagi and you're getting one shot. And that's the difference between, in my opinion, a pro player and a player that's getting there, is I don't need two chances, says MLC Stealth. I'll just take the one.
Well, taking a look directly at the jungle camp here. Cognitive Gaming unable to secure a single Gold Fury or Fire Giant.
Yeah. And
on top of that, the mid Harpies, this is not a shocker. All you guys should just be saying is, wow, mid Harpy control. That sucks.
This, to me, this is what I expected from Cloud9 going in. Not only do they win 100% of the Gold Furies and the Fire Giant, they win the mid camps, but there are also a small amount of invade probability here on the bottom side. You can see they took a little bit of the back camps, they took some attack speed buffs, they took, you know, some of course, the mana buffs as well, but then their jungle, just red, pristine, absolutely untouched by the blue heathens, it seems.
Yeah, which, I mean, Cloud9, this is what they're good at. They're good at the entire game, but what's really scary for a lot of teams is the fact that Cloud9 seems to get better as the game goes on, whereas TSM, we might say, okay, you know, they're really, really good strong, but late game, maybe, right? Like, we haven't really seen it all that well.
With that, we're going to take a quick chat here with one of the Cloud9 members. This week, we're going to be talking to the ever-famous Jeff Hindla.
Oh, the sex. Jeff, are you there, buddy?
Howdy. How's it going, guys?
You know, like average.
Oh, man. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm really good right now. How about you guys?
I'm assuming DM's average, and I'm decent. Jeff, the plays you guys are having, you look good. How do you feel that Geb kind of stacks up in the current support meta?
I think Geb's always been pretty strong. I don't know. Shields are really, really hard to play around.
Yeah. For me, when I think Jeff, I always think, you know, steals. I mean, that's what he was known for. And for me, the best person to steal is Bacchus. And this character was recently buffed massively. We haven't really seen a lot of Bacchus overall from either region. Tell us about your plans for the character.
Love it. Far and away my favorite god.
So what was he?
He just, Geb fit better. I don't know. I've been playing him a ton, though. I love the buffs. I think it was really needed.
How do you guys think your chances are to make LAN? So far, you're looking
very
strong.
good.
Worried about TSM?
Not anymore.
Jeff, let me ask you this question. So it seems that a lot of teams, and well, let me rephrase it actually. It seems that you and TSM kind of prioritize yourself around early mid Harpies and early Gold Furies. Is your team comp built around that as well?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's pretty game dependent on how we play.
Tell us about a little bit about Stealth today. Player of the game in the second game. Goes into Magi's boots, right into the Warlock stash, very unwilling to deviate from his current build. Where do you think Stealth's going to be in terms of like meta changing? Do you think that he's going to, in case the meta changes, switch his build, switch his God Pool, or do you think he's going to stick with what he's always done?
I think Stealth will build whatever feels best, and that works best for him. I like his builds, but he'll always just go with what feels best for him.
Cool. And you can't really argue with success, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
really, really can't. Huh, so Jeff, how come you don't like boots?
Oh, what?
You don't
Jigs
like
didn't build. Jigs built boots one and then went soft two.
Point.
I think boots are really good, but I don't know when they took Midas boots out of the game. I first looked at it as like, well, I only built these for 2 years, so if I just look at it as if I don't have boots anymore, I have more options.
Do you wish that Midas were back, or are you happy without them?
I'm pretty happy without them. I think it causes some issues, but it was
What you did there.
boring building the same thing,
Yes.
every single game,
Yes.
no matter what.
Yes, it was DM. DM.
Always at me. Always at me.
Jeff, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Absolutely. I want to thank C9. They've been fantastic to us. I want to thank you guys for casting and all the fans, of course. I watch every game we play, and I see you guys, throughout the whole game, and it means a lot.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, Jeff. Guys, make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube as well. You'll get all the tips and tricks.
I watch a lot of Jeff's videos just in case I get put into support in ranked.
Yeah, it scares you.
I don't know how to play it
I know,
anymore.
that's
Season
why
2
that's
is
why
the
you want
worst.
the Midas
Give
boots.
me
you
my
little
Midas
jerk.
boots back. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here. Oh man, we are in a hell of a season. Look at this, a 4-way tie for first place.
Is Cloud9 supposed to be 2-2? Or is that supposed to be 2-1? Production?
2-1.
It should be 2-1. Okay, so
2-1.
ignore
It's week
that.
3.
A little bit of mistake. That's right. There should be only 3 games played. And with that, a 4-way tie. Cognitive Gaming and Enemy Esports at this point is generally just out of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cognitive has a small glimmer of hope if pretty much everyone else loses. But even mathematically, without doing the math in front of me, I don't think that that's feasible at this stage.
No, I don't believe so either. I'm pretty sure that's curtains pretty close for Cognitive, but I mean, it's a 4-way tie for first place. This is something we weren't expecting in NA at all. We kind of expected 2 clear winners and then 1 extra one,
But that's just North America. Let's take a look at how Europe is shaping up here. As you see, Trig Esports, Titan, Fnatic, and
surprise.
Team Dignitas also have the same run, with London Conspiracies and Upcoming Stars both kind of on the bottom as well.
So really what we're seeing here is that the battle for first place in both regions is very, very close. Now, we expected this out of Europe because Europe's supposed to be this chaotic region where no one has any idea what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? But NA?
See, for North America, I can make a safe prediction and say that I think we'll see TSM and Cloud9 on top. For Europe, it's going to be a little bit harder. My heart says Fnatic and Trig, but with the way that Ataraxia played with that build and the way that Comfrey was controlling and just Repicos by himself, it's very hard to count them out. And then Dignitas started off 2-0, which is incredible.
Well, what's going to be interesting, now it's going to be really hard to follow because it's just in my head. What'll be really
Trust me, that is
hard,
very
I know, what'll be very, very hard is that Cloud9 will be going up against Denial Esports.
Right.
And they will be going up against AFK. So then, on the other side, TSM, they have pretty much the guaranteed road from here on out. So
right.
TSM might be able to finish 4-1. So we are probably going to have like this weird 3-way tie.
It's possible.
For second, especially if Denial or AFK can beat Cloud9.
Which would be insanity.
Which, all things looking at it, by the way, just because we're girls and we like talking anyways, Cloud9 normally has a harder matchup for AFK than TSM does.
It's very true, at least from what we saw yesterday. Holy heavens. TSM.
That was scary.
It was real scary. If they play like that for the rest of the season, like no one stands a chance.
No.
But we've said that in the past. Cloud9 won Worlds. You know, we thought Cognitive was the strongest going into launch. That went to TSM.
Yep.
In fact, they took third to the old Team Dignitas, so there's definitely potential for comeback.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us today on Week 3. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, you can find out more information at esports.smitegame.com.